In our last episode, we left off with a missing template. So again, just to review, we were in the browser, gave a URL, went to the router. It was able to figure out the controller and action, went to the controller. Then the controller sent a request off to the view for the hello template, and it could not find it. And again, if you look over here under the app views say controller, there are no files. So let's create a template. So we'll create a new file and we'll call this hello.html.erb. We'll create that and let's just put a little bit of code in there. Save it. Now let's go back to our browser, refresh, and voila, we have now completed the circuit. In the browser, we entered a URL. That URL was read by the router and it could determine what the controller and the action was. It called the controller. In the controller, it found the action. That action ended up sending a request to the view to display a template, which displays back in our browser as you see here. So we've now gone pretty much full circle. We haven't touched the model, but we'll look at that in the future. So this is a static web page. Nothing changes. Let's change it slightly so that it does have something that changes. So we're going to put in some time. So in here we have a paragraph and it will display it is now, and time is a Ruby class. Now is a method within that class that will display the current time. Now the way we're doing that is by surrounding the Ruby code with ERB tags. ERB stands for embedded Ruby. So a less than % equal says I'm starting an ERB tag, and a % right greater than closes it. We're going to save this. Come back to our web page, refresh, and notice we got the time. If I refresh again, notice the time increments. So now everything looks good, but we do have a slight problem. The way MVC works is the controller sets up the data and the view displays it, but in this case the view is actually grabbing the data. So we really don't want to have that time.now in the view. We want it in the controller. So let's go ahead and edit the say controller. So here's our current say controller. There is nothing in the hello action or method, and I'll put at time equals time.now. Now the thing that's really important to look at here is this at time is an instance variable. Instance variables, the information in those are available in both the controller and the view. They'll get passed back and forth. So if I set this as a local variable, it would not work. I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to go back to the hello view, and instead of saying time.now, I just give the name of the instance variable at time. Save this, come back over here, refresh, and notice it's still working, but now we are following the appropriate MVC model, the controller is setting up the data. In this case, that data is the time, and it's setting it in an instance variable. And then the view is using that instance variable and displaying it in a formatted fashion. Now, let's say we wanted to go to another page. Well, come back over here. Our other page is goodbye, and we get a routing error. In the next episode, we be able to say goodbye. Stay tuned. We'll see you in a moment.